Hello, what I'd like to take some time to talk to you about today is ocean pollution and what is a major contributor to ocean pollution. I think we're all guilty as consumers of using way too much plastic, and one of the uses of the plastic that's causing masses of swirls of garbage out in the Pacific Ocean and other oceans is the single one-time use plastic, such as this, for example, a plastic water bottle, of which I am very guilty of using. There are alternative sources to using plastic, one of which is stainless steel as a canister, or the bamboo that you can use for eating out. Some of the main causes of the overuse of plastic, besides the single one-time use water bottles, are plastic wrap, plastic containers that we might store our food in, and also the plastic silverware, like when you're out eating in a restaurant. What I would like to introduce you to is the Plastic Pollution Coalition. They are an environmental research group. They also have partnered with over 400 other retail marketing leaders, policyholders, and they all are in agreement of reducing plastic use. In fact, they have the 4 R's commitment, which is reduce, refuse, reuse, and recycle where appropriate. A lot of the plastic that's getting out into the oceans is because of being, besides being overuse, being thrown away in the wrong receptacle, just being tossed aside, and eventually all this plastic makes its way out into the oceans. What I'd like to show you is this picture of a turtle, and if you can see, I'm going to move it up here closer, this turtle has actually been intertwined with a 6-pack ring that it found out in the ocean, and over time its shell has been deformed. Inside, its organs are now slowly being crushed, and it will die a very painful death. The plastic has PCBs and bisphenol A, which are the chemicals in creating the plastic. And what they do is they leach through the turtle shell, and they cause digestive, like liver failure and digestive problems. The fish in the ocean also suffer from the same thing, and we as, I guess at the top of the food chain, we are also affected by the bisphenol A and the PCBs. One of the main problems with the PCBs and the bisphenol A, they're what they call endocrine disruptors, and they affect the neurological and the fertility or the reproductive system of anyone who uses it over time. I would like to advocate some alternative methods instead of using plastic, which would be the bamboo. You can get cutlery or silverware off Amazon for $3.40, and it will last you a lifetime. And also the stainless steel water bottles, which I do have a couple of those. We talked about the problems of throwing the trash away in an incorrect receptacle and it reaching the ocean. It's not just us, also as consumers, it's fishermen using fishing nets and other items like that, in which there's marine life that get caught up into the fishing nets. There's a couple of statistics that I'd like to share with you. According to Science World, plastic can take up to 500 years to biodegrade, which is not a viable source. There are patches in the Pacific Ocean, and between in Japan there are swirling masses of garbage, and these are the dead zones which no marine life or very little marine life can exist. What happens is it depletes the oxygen for the marine life to breathe. So much of the problem is single-use plastics, such as plastic bottles and plastic shopping bags, such as you might find in Walmart or Target, that might be used for an hour and then will be thrown away and cause hundreds of years of problems. Another source, the National Geographic magazine, has quoted, there are over 400 dead zones in the world, starving our marine life of oxygen. I also wanted to share with you the founder of the Algalita Marine Research and Education Institute in Long Beach, California, had an article in the New York Times from 2014, and he lists many of the problems we face now using plastic. He states that plastic entangles and slowly kills marine life. Ingesting the toxicants will damage the liver and the digestive system, which we saw in the turtle. There's a fish out in the ocean called the lanternfish, which is called a bait fish. Many of the larger fish, the salmon, the tuna, will consume that. And what happens is the lanternfish ingests these little plastic pieces, then in turn it just kind of keeps going up the food chain. This lanternfish is actually a threatened source right now because it is dying out with the BPA poisoning. This means for us as humans on top of the food chain, we're affected by PCBs and bisphenol A. What I'd also like to talk to you about real briefly is a solution that we can all work towards in reducing our consuming of the single one-time use plastic and plastic in general. What we can do is join organizations such as the Plastic Pollution Coalition. We can work towards cleanup of the plastic debris and alternative ways to using single-use plastic. We can commit to the 4 R's, which are, once again, reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse to use plastic. And we know that once we join an organization such as the Plastic Pollution Coalition, we know we'll have peace in our hearts and our minds that we're doing our best that we can do as consumers to reduce ocean pollution. I want to thank you for your time in listening to this brief video about ocean pollution. And I also wanted to throw in there real quick that the questionnaire that I sent out, it showed me that most of the students who did answer were aware of ocean pollution. They were aware of what causes it, what the dead zones are. Nobody really knew what that is, but hopefully now you do. And what we as consumers can do to reduce our impact on the plastic use. All right, once again, thanks.